Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back for episode 8 of Feed the Beast Infinity for Minecraft 1.10. Last episode we set up an RF Tools quarry over in the mining dimension to automatically mine for us and send all of the mining products back through to the overworld and into what was an ender chest, but the pack has updated since the end of last episode, and so we got rid of ender storage and we now have a mod called multi-storage installed, which adds these ender link chests, which work in almost the exact same way. If I open this up right now, they are slightly smaller, as you can see. Instead of a normal chest size, it's just a 3x3 area, but other than that, they work in pretty much the exact same way. You can see that they have 3 kind of white bands on them right now. If I was to, for example, grab some lapis, actually, do we have any other kind of dyes? Because I don't really want to use any of our lapis if I can avoid it, because we've only got 4 left. So if I was to grab like this poppy, for example, and quickly craft up some red dye, what I can do is I can go ahead and right click on any of these 3 bands to set it to a different color. You can see now it's set to red, white, white, and so any other Enderlink chest that also has the bands as red, white, white will have the same inventory. And now if I open it, you can see there's nothing in there because it's no longer linking to the one in the mining dimension. And if I was to quickly come over and grab some bone meal, do something like this, you got to shift right click onto the red band, it will go ahead and switch it back over to the frequency being used by the other Enderlink chest that is over in the mining dimension. Speaking of new mods, we also have replaced Whaler, which for those who don't know is the What Am I Looking At mod, which is the mod that adds the little like text at the top there that shows you what you're looking at. For example, oak leaves, oak wood, glass, oak wood planks, all that kind of stuff. We got rid of Whaler and we added in a new mod, which I don't know the name of off the top of my head, but one really cool feature that I only found out about by accident when I was changing the frequency of the bands before the episode is that if you press shift while looking at any kind of block that has an inventory, it will show you at the top what is in that chest. You can see at the top there we got iron ore, tin ore, I think that's bauxite ore, we got some apatite, some coal, some seeds, some copper ore, and some flax seeds as well. And the really cool thing is that it works on pretty much everything. So of course it works on these chests over here, making it much easier to find where things are instead of having to search through every single chest individually. But it also works on machines like these over here. So you can see this one, the macerator, has 4 overclockers in it, the generator has nothing, the extractor currently has 39 rubber in it, etc, etc, etc. And it works pretty much with everything. It even shows you that the fluid solid canning machine has 1 bucket worth of water in it right now, which is pretty cool as well. So that's kind of neat, something that I found out since the end of last episode. It even works on the solar panel there. You can see we've got the furnace upgrade, which is powering the furnace there, which is pretty cool as well. So nothing really game changing, but just a nice little feature, nice little update to the pack there as well. We got some bricks and some coal in this furnace. Now, the first thing that I want to do in today's episode is I want to get all of the stuff out of these Enderlink chests automatically to the other chests. Right now, the quarry in the mining dimension is turned off because, as you can see, the chest here is full because the storage capacity isn't quite on par with the ender chests that came before it. But if we go ahead and take this thing, my plan is to, for now, I think, I'm going to put it like right about here. So let me go ahead and break a hole in the roof here because you can't open this thing up if there's a block above it. So if I put a block above the Enderlink chest there, it wouldn't open, which is why I've got rid of it. It does have a really cool animation. I like the way that it kind of moves up when you open it and then moves back down when you close it. I really like that. And what we're going to do here is we're going to pipe out the ores around and into this chest over here, and we're going to pipe pretty much everything else for the time being over into this chest. We might pipe a couple of things, possibly maybe upwards into a trash can, if there's certain things that we don't want in there, but we'll look at that later on down the line. For now, we need to actually sort these things out. So there were a couple of ways we could do this. We could use the transfer nodes from extra utilities like we've done over here. We could use the item conduits from Ender.io, but I'm going to use the logistical sorter from Mechanism just because really I don't use it all that often. I will say right from the get-go, it's almost certainly not the best way to do it. It would be a lot easier to do this with transfer nodes or with the item conduits from Ender.io, but I like to mix things up every now and again and use things that I wouldn't normally use, and the logistical sorter kind of fits that bill. I very rarely use this, mostly because Mechanism doesn't find it into a lot of Feed the Beast mod packs, but essentially this thing is really easy to make. It's some iron ingots, 1 piston, and 1 basic control circuit, which is made in the metallurgic infuser with some osmium and some redstone. I did go ahead and make at least 2 of those between episodes. We're going to use the rest of those a little bit later on in today's episode for some other stuff, but let's go ahead and grab a little bit of osmium. Let's grab some of the iron. What else did we need? need. We also needed, I think, a little bit of a piston. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of redstone. We've already got some iron. We should have some wood in here, and we do. Let's go ahead and quickly craft that up. We should also have, not that, we should also have some cobblestone in that chest as well. Let me do a quick check. We do. Good stuff. I should really go out and do a bit of a mine with my hammer just to get a nice amount of cobblestone. We are voiding it over in the mining dimension just so that we don't get an overload of cobblestone, but that does mean that right now we're actually not getting any whatsoever. So we could do with looking into getting some more just to kind of have for crafts like this in the future. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to craft up 2 of these, by the way, because I want to have one on the left-hand side right about here, and we're going to have one on the right-hand side right about there. And essentially, these connect up to the mechanism transporter pipes, of which there are 4 different tiers. You can see a basic, advanced, elite, and ultimate, just like with the energy conduits from mechanism as well. And it even tells you there in the little tooltip the speed and the pump rates. You can see this one can pump 120 items per second, so it can pump out 2 stacks per second, and the speed is 10. I think that's meters per second, so I think that's 10 blocks per second is how fast it can move them. So very, very fast. We're going to stick with the basic ones for now, which can pump out 2 items per second and a speed of 1 meter per second. Thankfully, we're not going too far, so the 1 meter per second thing isn't too big of a deal. But to make this, you need 1 basic control circuit and then 2 steel ingots. Steel ingots, of course, are made with some iron and some coal, again in the metallurgy infuser, and then smelted. So let's go ahead and grab the rest of our control circuits here and see about making some of these basic logistic pipes. For now, I will take 16. I think I might need to make 1 more set because going this way, we're going to go around like so, and then we're going to go down directly into this chest. We'll get to that in a second because you'll see it hasn't connected up. And then on this side, we're going to go around like so, and then we're going to connect that directly up to that chest. Nice. So we don't actually need any more pipes, which is nice. Ooh, that one has connected, and then this one hasn't. That's probably due to the fact that it's become a refined relocation chest, and this one is not. What I might have to do here is replace this chest, because this chest has been causing actually quite a lot of issues. If I open up the sorting iron chest here, you'll see on the right hand side that it does have the inventory tweaks buttons. For those who don't know, inventory tweaks is the mod that lets you organize your inventory. So if I place a middle mouse button right now, you can see that it organizes my inventory, puts all the things in a nice order, and the same is true over here. You'll see right now everything's kind of organized nicely. If I make a mess real quick and then press the middle mouse button, it will just organize everything as it should be. Whereas in this chest, if I do it and click the middle mouse button, nothing happens, because for some reason this chest just doesn't want to work. It works with the iron chest, but it doesn't work with the normal chest. And so I guess it doesn't actually really matter, to be fair, because if we pump the items into here, they're still going to go to the correct places. All that's going to happen is items like these ones that don't go anywhere are going to be stuck in this chest for the time being. What I'll do between episodes is I'll upgrade this to an iron sorting chest. I can't upgrade it, but I'll make a new one, and I'll make this original chest an iron sorting chest, and then we'll pipe directly into that one, and things will get organized. For now, this will work just fine. And so, over here with the logistical sorter, if we right-click, we can add what are known as filters to the logistical sorter to specify what we want it to pull out. Now with this one, I want it to pull out from the OR dictionary, and if you type in OR star, which is shift and 8 on your keyboard, if you type that in and click tick and then save it, that's going to do all of the ORs within the OR dictionary. So you can see here that all of the ORs in the game are kind of rotating around in this little thing, and if you click save, that's now going to go ahead and pull out any OR in the OR dictionary. So you can see it's pulled out everything that is an OR. And then on this side, unfortunately, there's no inverse filter. Wow, that's loud. I haven't switched up my musical settings since I updated my music settings since I updated the pack here. So let me quickly change those to how I'd normally have them. That seems fine. Unfortunately, I don't know of any inverse filter, because now what I'd like to do, I'd like it to have the exact same filter, but inversed. I want it to pull out everything that's not in the OR dictionary. To the best of my knowledge, there's no way I could do that. If you do know of a way of doing it, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. And so I think for now, what I'm going to have to do is kind of keep an eye on what comes through this chest and just add filters as they come through. So for example, if I come in here now, I can add a new filter, item stack. I can put in appetite. I think I put it in at the top there, and I don't want to change this. I'm going to leave that on no color like that and click save, and now we'll pull out appetite. You can see the appetite's going around, and as far as I know, you can add as many filters as you like, so we can go ahead and add one for coal. For this reason, it probably, like I said earlier, is a little bit easier if you go with the item conduits or the item filters, because you can add inverses to some of those. But for now, I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to add new filters for new stuff as things come along. Like I said, if we get too many items that we don't want, for example, I'm not too interested in getting flax seeds, for example, or or industrial hemp seeds, I should say, from immersive engineering. So I might, at some point, set up a new logistical sorter, maybe on the top. I might also move this at some point because everything is getting a little bit cramped in here, but I might move this and set up another logistical sorter that sends certain things to a trash can to kind of just get rid of it if we don't want it. But for now, that's how that's going to work. If we quickly head on over into the mining dimension, we can go ahead and flick on the quarry. You can see we're still getting the issue with the cables here. When you go to the mining dimension and come back, it does disconnect all of the cables, which is a little bit annoying. I should probably go to bed real quick here before we try and go over to the mining dimension, because it is dark and there are no torches over in the mining dimension, so there are a ton of mobs just waiting to attack us as soon as we go through. So let me quickly get some sleep here, and then we will head on through. And once we're over here, we can go ahead and turn this thing on again. It has built up a nice amount of power because it's been off for a little while now. That's going to go ahead and start mining again almost instantly. It's got a ton of marble there, which we're going to have to add to our filter. But again, marble might be one of those things that we might want to get rid of at some point, because it's not necessarily something that we want to keep a ton of. But as you can see, all of the stuff's coming in. It's working very, very fast thanks to that build-up in power that it's got. And all of the ores and all of the items that are coming through so far are all getting sorted quite nicely. Of course, once we get down to redstone and diamonds, we are going to have to add those to the filter as well. But there shouldn't be that many things that we have to add to the filter. And so hopefully it's not going to take too long between episodes to kind of see what's getting backed up and add those things in. But that's the quarry out of the way. That's the enderlink chests all set up completely. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this, but the chests that we're using now, the multi-link Ender chest, I think they're called Ender chests. Yeah, the Enderlink chests are made in almost the exact same way as the chest before. If I show you the recipe here, it's 4 blaze powder, 3 obsidian, 1 Ender bag, which is just some leather, and it's an eye of Ender. So it does require leather, which I don't think the Ender chest did, but other than that, it's mostly the same. It's some blaze rods, it's some obsidian, and it's some wool. Mostly the same stuff. I might have to put down like a sound muffler, or maybe just turn down my sound here, because that thing is going to get real annoying real quick with its clicking. But that is all working as intended. All of the ores are going into here. We might have to change things a little bit because the stuff like yellowite doesn't get processed, I don't think, and neither does bauxite, if I remember correctly. So I might have to set up another system for processing those somewhere else. But for now, that will work just fine. And now I want to move over to the next thing that I want to work on in today's episode, and that is the Angel Ring from Extra Utilities 2. So the Angel Ring works in almost the exact same way as it did in 1.7, and that is that it gives you the ability to fly like you're in creative mode. Now, Extra Utilities has undergone a bit of an overhaul with the new Extra Utilities 2, and there is now a thing called GP. You can see right now, if I hover over the Angel Ring, it says users 32 GP, and then just below that you can see that GP stands for grid power, and right now it says that grid power is 0 out of 0. So we'll get to grid power in a second. For now, we're just going to make the Angel Ring itself. So there are a few different Angel Rings. They're all made in almost the exact same way. They just look a little bit different. They do the same thing, by the way. The first one's just made with glass, whereas this one's made with feathers. This one's made with golden nuggets, etc. etc. So they all do the same thing. We're probably just going to make the default one here. And unlike in previous versions of Minecraft, the Angel Ring is really easy to make now. So it's only 4 gold, 2 glass, 1 resonating redstone crystal, which we'll get to in a second, 1 golden lasso, which is some golden nuggets, and some string. It does say 8 XP, so I'm assuming that this does require some XP to craft now, which is a new mechanic in Extra Utilities 2. And we also need a cursed lasso, which is 1 golden lasso and 1 drop of evil, which has got a new texture, by the way. It's the same as it was before. It's just the Sphax is updated a little bit now, which is why it's got a texture, which, as we've shown before, we can get by killing with the skeleton skulls. It's only a 10% chance, so 1 in 10 should give us it, but we might have to kill like 15 or 20 in order to actually get one. So we are going to have to go do that, but overall, this thing's actually fairly easy to get. The resonating redstone crystal can be gotten in 2 different ways. One is by using an ender shard and 4 redstone. Ender shards can be made with an ender pearl and a glass cutter, real easy stuff, but you also get it just from mining redstone. So we're looking here, I think in this chest, yeah, we've already got 10 resonating redstone crystals because of all the mining that I did earlier on. Every so often, when you break some redstone ore, you're going to get some of these resonating redstone crystals, so they're not all too hard to get, in all fairness. Also, we're getting some Botania flowers as well, which is pretty cool. So, what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to go away real quick. I'm going to go through to the nether. I'm going to try and find some wither skeletons, try and get a drop of evil. I'm also going to get all the stuff together that we need to craft this thing, and I'll be back in a second. And a little while later, we're now back in the overworld. It actually only took me 2 wither skeletons. The second one that I killed dropped the drop of evil, probably due to the fact that we added the looting to our night slime cleaver, but also it was probably a little bit of good luck as well. But now we've got all the stuff that we need, I think, to make the angel ring. So let's go ahead and first of all grab some golden nuggets so we can make ourselves 2 of the standard golden lassos. It does say 8 XP. I'm not quite sure how many levels that's going to take off, as it actually does take away 8 levels when it says 8 XP. That's actually a little bit crazy. Thankfully, we had 38 levels, so that was no problem whatsoever. And then we can go ahead and do that. That one doesn't require any XP. I thought it did. Oh no, I guess it doesn't. Okay, we should now, though, have everything we need to go ahead and make ourselves the angel ring, which doesn't seem to want to craft. Okay, so I figured it out. I don't know if this is new or if I just didn't see it before, but looking at the lassos here, you actually have to have stuff in the lassos in order for this to work. You can see here the golden lasso requires a bat, and then the cursed lasso also requires a ghast. So what I'm going to have to do real quick is head on back over to the nether to grab myself the ghast in one of the lassos. I think it's the cursed lasso. Let me make sure I get that right. Yeah, and I'm going to have to head down into the mines, or maybe even also in the nether, to see if I can find myself a bat for the golden lasso. But either way, I'm going to go away. I'm going to see if I can grab both these guys in the lassos. I'll be back in a second. And finally, way too much fighting of ghasts later, we can finally make the angel ring. We've got the cursed lasso with a ghast in it, and then the golden lasso with a bat in it. I don't think I've ever killed so many ghasts accidentally in my life. You have to get the ghast down to, I think it says below 2 hearts, and so you have to hit it a few times, but I kept accidentally hitting it whilst it was firing at me, and therefore deflecting the fireball back at the ghast and killing it by accident, or I'd hit it with my sword by accident and it'd just die instantly. The bat, thankfully, was a little harder to find than the ghast. There were a lot of ghasts in the nether, but then once I had found it, it was a lot easier to actually catch it in the golden lasso, and you don't have to hurt it whatsoever. And so now I have my angel ring, but you'll notice, oh, we get the lassos back as well, which is kind of cool. We can use those for farming later on, because you can go ahead and if those gone like back to the beginning, maybe? I wonder where those have gone. I can press shift now to look. Oh, they're going here. Oh, they're not stackable, that's why. Okay. You can use these to actually move animals around, though. So, for example, I could pick up a cow and then bring it back to a farm later on in the game when we start to do a little bit of farming, which is pretty cool. But you'll notice that I still can't fly. If I double tap, if I get rid of my jetpack, and I try and double tap spacebar, I still can't fly. Also, my frame rate has just tanked. Let me quickly see about fixing that. Alright, so a little while later, I figured out what was causing the frame rate issue. It was actually the macerator. So when I relogged, the pipes reconnected and everything started working again. So the macerator came back online and began to process all of the ores, but it still had the 4 overclockers in it. And it turns out that when the macerator runs out of power, so when this red bolt here starts to drain and actually hits the bottom, it starts to make that horrible Industrial Craft 2 machine not having enough power noise. The texture actually starts to flicker a little bit on the front, and it causes just like a massive frame rate drop. So if you're playing this when the pack releases, don't let your macerator, or I guess any of your Industrial Craft machines, try and run on not enough power, because they do start to impact the frame rate pretty hard there. Just a quick tip. But now that we've got ourselves the angel ring, we actually have to get it to work, because as I just showed before the cut, it doesn't work. We can't fly with it, and that is because we need 32 GP. Now, the way that the new grid power system works within Extra Utilities is that you generate the grid power kind of on a permanent basis, and unlike other kinds of power, you can't store it. So unlike with Industrial Craft 2, where we can store all of our EU inside of, say, a bat box, or even inside of this charge pad down here, with the grid power from Extra Utilities, you generate it and then you have to kind of use it live, if that makes sense. And so in order to use the angel ring, we have to actively be producing 32 GP at any given time. Now, thankfully, as of right now, GP is super easy to generate and make. I don't know if this is going to change in future versions of Extra Utilities 2, or if it's going to stay the same. But right now, there are a bunch of generators. There are some mills. You can see you've got a water mill, a windmill, a lava generator, a fire mill. There are also things like the solar panels and then the lunar panels. The solar panel works in the day. The lunar panel works at night. And you can see there it says base power given 1. If we look at, for example, the water mill, it says max power given 4. We're probably going to end up using the lava mill. These things give a max GP of 2 when they're adjacent to lava. And in order to make the angel ring work, we need 32 GP. And so we're going to to get 16 of these, and all you got to do is just put them down next to a block of lava, and they will kind of just passively generate GP. They don't require any kind of actual lava to run. They don't use up the lava, and they just have to be near it, and they will generate GP. So it is a little bit easy to do, and I don't know if that's going to be balanced or tweaked in the future, but for now, we're going to make 16 of these lava generators and get this angel ring working. Now, to make this, it is a little bit tricky. We need one of those resonating redstone crystals. We only have 9 right now, and so we are going to have to make ourselves one of these ender shards in order to make a couple more, but we also require some of this stone burnt, which is made in the resonator with polished stone, which is made by crafting together 4 stone bricks. So, if we look up the recipe for the resonator real quick, which is this machine over here, to make this, we need 1 block of coal, 2 redstone, another resonating redstone crystal, and then 5 ingots worth of iron. So we've already got the iron. Let me quickly grab 1 of those. We've already got the redstone, and we can just grab 2 more coal to take us up to 9 for a block's worth. So let's go ahead and do something like that. And now we can go ahead and make ourselves the resonator. Nice. So for now, I'll stick this like down here because we're kind of running out of room upstairs. But essentially, if we were to grab some of our stone, which I think we should have in here, we do. We're going to have to smelt up some more real quick. But if we grab 4 of those and we stick it down inside of the resonator, which we can't do because we first of all have to craft it into the polished stone. 1 second. If we do that and get the polished stone and put that in there, you'll see it says using 0.04 out of 8 GP. So in order for this to run, we do need some kind of GP. So before we can get to, for example, the lava generator or the windmill or the watermill or anything like that, we do have to generate a little bit of GP just to get the resonator running so that we can actually get some of the stone burnt required for the lava generator. And so the first thing we're going to make that generates GP is the manual mill. This thing is made with 2 polished stone, another one of those resonating redstone crystals, and then a redstone gear, which is 4 redstone torches, and a plank of wood. So let's go ahead and grab 4 redstone from there. Let's grab, I guess, just the 2 sticks from there, and then we should probably craft up some more, which kind of nullifies the whole getting 2 from there thing, doesn't it? So we'll go ahead and craft up some more sticks. We'll then use those for the 4 redstone torches. We've already got the planks, and so we should be pretty much good to go here. We'll take one of those. Still not sure why it's throwing random items into there all the time. Let's grab 1 more of those resonating crystals, and now if we go ahead and quickly grab 2 of that polished stone back out of the resonator, we should be able to craft all of that together into the manual mill, like so. Nice. So, this thing I'm going to put down just on top of it. It doesn't have to be placed there. You can place it anywhere in the world, and it will produce GP that the resonator can then use. But we're going to put this in here, and now if we start to right-click on this and we spin it, the cool thing is, by the way, you can just press right-click once and then let go of the mouse entirely. So you can kind of walk away and get like a drink if you wanted to. It doesn't require you to sit there and hold the mouse button down in order for it to work. But you can see it's generating grid power, and if we look in here, you can see it has made 1 stone burn. And so, guys, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go away real quick. I'm going to smelt up a bunch of stone. I'm going to craft that stone into stone bricks. I'm going to craft those stone bricks into the polished stone. I'm then going to stand here and just leave the game running until we have enough stone burn to make 16. And it's even running when I press E there, so I can search NEI, and it's still going, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to get enough stone burn to make 16 of these lava generators, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so quite a bit of grinding later, and we now have a stack and 53 of this stone burn. And so, if we again quickly look at the recipe for the lava generators here, we do need to craft up 1 of these ender shards, so we are going to have to get a glass cutter. Thankfully, they are super easy to make. We just need some iron and a stick. That's going to let us make as out of iron. Where did all of our iron go? I think it's probably over here somewhere. Yeah, I put it into I put it into that chest over there by accident when I was dumping stuff out. But now we can craft up the cutter, so we'll do something like, I think it's this. That's going to get us the glass cutter. I think we've got a couple of ender pearls over here still. We do. Let's go and craft that with the glass cutter. That's going to get us 8 of these ender shards, and we should now be able to craft those up with our redstone to get quite a lot more of these resonating redstone crystals. We'll stick 4. I think it's like this. And then 1 of these, pretty much anywhere. It is a shapeless recipe, so you can put these wherever you like. But you do need 4 redstone, and I think it uses up 1 of these each time. It does. So we need at least 16 of those. We are going to need 1 more ender pearl to make that work. So let's go ahead and grab that real quick. But once we've done that, we should have everything it takes to make 16 of those lava generators. So let's go ahead. Oh, do we need No, we don't need another glass cutter. Okay, it's been used, so it doesn't want to shift click again. So we'll take that. We will craft that with at least 4 redstone, like so. No point doing any more just yet, because we only need 16 for the 16 lava generators. And then if we grab some gold real quick, we can go ahead and we can shift click all that stuff in to the crafting station, like so. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head on through to the nether so we can put these down. Okay, so here we go. And you don't have to put them down in the nether. We could pick up the lava, bring it back to the overworld, and set these up somewhere there. But I think it's going to be a little bit easier. If we press F9 twice, I want to find the chunks here, because we're gonna have to load the chunk to make sure that these continue to run. But if we put all 16 of these down adjacent to some lava, like so, that's going to go ahead and provide us with 32 grid power, which is the perfect amount to allow the angel ring to function. So if we do something like that, and we hover over the angel ring, you can see right now we have grid power is a 6 out of 32. That 32 is being generated. And if we press E and go back to the claimed chunks, we can go ahead and left click on the chunk that we're in, and then if we shift left click, it's going to go ahead and chunk load that chunk so that all of these are going to remain active even when we're not in the nether when we go back to the overworld. You will notice that the power is going down. The grid power is not actually going up to 32. The reason for that is that I left some of the polished stone in the resonator. So if we quickly head on back to the overworld and we take these out, you can see now they're running on their own. I don't have to stand here and manually use the manual mill because it's using the grid power from the nether. We do want to make sure that nothing ends up in here, because otherwise our angel ring isn't going to work. But now that's done, you can see I do have creative mode flying. I can fly around as if we're in creative mode. No fuel required. I don't need to keep wearing the jetpack. I can in fact wear my nanosuit armor and fly. I don't have to lose the protection of the nanosuit armor in order to put the jetpack on and in order to fly. So now, as long as we don't use anything else that requires any grid power, we will have the ability to fly like we're in creative mode. It's pretty easy to do now in the new extra utilities, like I said before. Don't know if that's going to change at some point in the future, but we are now automatically organizing all of our ores, getting macerated and smelted into this chest over here. All of our other stuff is going through into all of our refined relocation chests. Like I said, between episodes, I will go ahead and try and change this up a little bit, because stuff like these rib bones and these seeds, I don't really want in this chest. I'd rather have those in a different chest. I might want to add a few more as well. I did go ahead and make sure that all the Pam's Harvest Craft stuff, so like the cabbage and the cauliflower, goes to this chest as well. I added that as a third filter over here. And we also got creative mode fly, which is going to be really useful for doing a bunch of stuff later on in the series. But for now, guys, I'm going to end this episode of Feed the Beast Infinity for Minecraft 1.10 there. As always, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit like. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.